Hey guys, welcome to the Comic Rundown, brought to you by the Comic Den. That's right, folks, we have rebranded. I'm your host, Ace Knuckles. I'm sitting here once again in the den, even though it's Jacob's den, with Jacob Whittington. As always, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at The Comic Den. Jacob, remind our listeners what you do and where people can find you.
You might better know me as Chronicler177. That is my YouTube channel. I make Halo machinimas, one of the few of us left, but I'm very dedicated and I'm very friendly with my fans. You can join my Discord to keep up with me on projects or talk to me if you're interested in that sort of thing. Everything's on my channel, Chronicler177.
For those of you who are first-time listeners, let me fill you in on what we try to do here. First, I find someone I like, and then I lull them into a false sense of security, and then when they least expect it, I force them to do stuff like this.
This is my house. False sense of security.
That's how false this sense of security is.
Oh, shit.
So, I've chosen Darth Vader for Jacob, and now we're moving into Volume 2. How excited are you for this?
Oh, man. You know, a lot of times, comics will put out a good first book, and then the second book ain't so good. It's not the case here, folks. This one just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, Vader 1 set up a pretty high standard. What expectations did you have going into Volume 2?
Well, I needed them to keep the personality of Vader accurate, which, suffice to say, they've done a great job, because, as I explained the first time, he can be very hard to nail him properly, but I really feel like they got it. They needed to continue the story with Aphra and her amazing droids. I love them so much. Oh my god.
They are awesome.
And they needed to keep things intriguing. They couldn't go with the standard Star Wars formula of black and white. There needs to be gray in this story, and there is a lot of gray here.
Yeah, a question that I had in my podcast that I did just last night. How do you write a story about Darth Vader, possibly one of the most evil creatures in the universe, and make him relatable to where not only do you understand him, but at times you're actively rooting for him?
You gotta show his human side. The side that... Because you gotta keep in mind, Darth Vader is still on some level, at all times, he's still Anakin Skywalker.
That was a big thing. So these volumes pick up right after Episode 4. Death Star blows up. We jump right in. The other comics that we were doing with my friend David, that is Vader wakes up from the table after being melted like a chocolate Santa Claus, and then that's when you jump in.
Finds out Padme's dead, and he does his
No! Which they corrected in the comic.
Did they?
They didn't stretch it out.
Yeah.
It was just like a no!
Yeah.
And then some shit goes down. You'll have to listen to the episode to see what happens.
Definitely.
But the whole time we're talking about how we're rooting for Vader. We while we were reading, we wanted Vader to win. We wanted Vader to do this. We wanted Vader to do that. Keeping in mind that less than a month ago, he slaughtered a building full of children.
Yeah, I think sometimes that gets glossed over a lot.
Yeah. I mean, he's not... It's not like he robbed a bank, but then it was to feed his children.
Yeah.
No, he slaughtered a temple full of children.
And then
children.
And then they couldn't be fed.
Yeah.
Even if he robbed a bank.
Right. Master Anakin, what's going on?
Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? Well, I got this thing right here for you, kids. You don't have to worry about anything anymore.
Check this out.
Yeah. But the good thing about these stories is that it doesn't make the mistake of trying to paint Darth Vader in a good light.
Yes.
It doesn't. Darth Vader's fucking evil.
Yeah.
And they don't hide that. What they do is make you like how evil he is, and you want him to win.
Yeah. What I think they also do very well is in the other ones, in the ones that pick up as he just turns into Vader, there's that constant struggle between Anakin keeps peeking out and then Vader slowly taking over. But in Volume 2, Vader is fully Vader at this point. And so I think what the author did is he said, okay, you have Vader, who's evil and awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to make you hate everybody else because they're dicks.
And they are.
Yeah, like everybody in here that's against Vader is just an asshole. Mm-hmm. That's all it is.
Well, there's two major things I think that make you want to root for Vader here. One, his reaction to finding out he has a son. His son is alive. Yeah. Because remember in episode 3 where Padme tells Anakin she's pregnant, and you see Hayden Christensen's face go through all these emotions, and then he says, that's wonderful. Shut up, Siri. God, she picks up on my watch, too, at work. That never fully left him, and I think, like you said, Anakin was peeking out in the other comics. I think that's the first time that actually happens again since then. Yeah. So there's that, but the other thing is Aphra. Giving him somebody human to put next to him to converse with. Yeah. It's a brilliant move. Yeah, because Aphra's very human,
and it makes him seem human, even though
he's a big guy in a big black suit.
Yeah, even though Vader, it's hard to explain without actually having the images. But they have that shirt that's the emotions of Vader, and it's just Vader doing the same pose. Okay, that's silly, but in the comic, at times they'll show Vader, and it's just his helmet. But then you're like, is he sad? Is he upset? What's going on? What emotion? And you start attributing emotion to it, and it makes the story that much better, especially because you really have no idea how he's going to react to anything.
You know what other story did that really well with a character like that? Halo 4 with the Master Chief.
Oh yeah?
Big guy in a suit of armor, faceplate on all the time. But just like they do in this comic, with little nuanced motions or even one single word, you can make him go, wow, I really want to know what he's feeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's amazing to me that you can do that in a comic.
Yeah. Like, that's easy to do in a video game where you can show little movements, or in a movie, but in a comic book where all you've got is a select amount of panels, that's harder.
Yeah, it's truly amazing. So, Jacob, we know that you're a super fan.
Damn right.
We know that you know everything about Star Wars.
Of course.
Walk me through Jacob's Star Wars movie.
My Star Wars movie?
Yep, your Star Wars movie. What's it about? Who's the character?
Hold on, you didn't tell me we were going to do this. I'd have some material ready. Alyssa, right. Where are my books?
So Jacob's walking to find his dream journals.
No, dude, I wrote books. Where the hell did they go?
I'd call them books, too.
No, I'm dead serious. They're bound and everything.
We all know they're dream journals.
Where are they? Where are they?
All right, he's hunting frantically.
Hold on. I know where one is. They're upstairs.
He just stepped on his cat.
I did not. She's upstairs too.
Nope, your cat's right here.
No, there she is. Hi, Jess. Hold on.
I can hear you clomping around up there on the microphone.
Yes, I've got.
All right, so what I've asked Jacob is to come up with his very own movie.
Ready for you.
And I guess that was the wrong question to ask him because he has books that he's written. And he's frantically searching for them right now. I guess I should have ran my questions by him before we started this.
God damn it. I didn't fucking find anything when I needed.
You don't remember what's in the books?
No, I got it.
All right, he's on his way back, folks.
I got it. I couldn't find the first book, but I found the second.
If you think I'm editing any of this out of here, you're fucking insane.
I don't care. The Starfire Trilogy, Chapter 2, Shadow of the Past, by Jacob Whittington.
All right.
I was halfway through a trilogy when I gave up.
You gave up?
Yeah, this was written a long time ago, and I devoted my energies to machinima because not a whole lot of people read this.
Yeah.
But damn, I'm happy with it.
Isn't it on that website?
It's on fanfiction.net if you want to read it.
Okay. Just fanfiction.net, and then I assume
Chronicler177.
Okay.
But you may have a hard time finding it. Like I said, it never got much attention.
Yeah, I'm sure it's buried.
It might be.
Okay, so explain what it's about. Explain your trilogy.
So this is back way before The Force Awakens came out.
Okay.
So I wanted to put my own addition to the Star Wars universe, and I wrote a story that happens immediately after the destruction of the Death Star, where two Force-sensitive twins, Arlo and Rey Starfire, are being hunted by the Empire, because of course the Emperor would want them,
right,
as he wants all Force-sensitives to himself, either dead or his servants. They meet up with the rebels. In the first book, they meet up with the rebels, and of course the rebel base immediately gets attacked and evacuated. They run into one of the last remaining Jedi Masters. He teaches them, he starts to teach them how to use the Force, and then the twins start going down two different paths. Arloin starts going down the light side, while Reyna, the more brash, impulsive one, starts falling to the path of the dark side.
Yeah.
But I won't say any more than that in case somebody actually wants to read it. I don't want to spoil a whole lot.
Gotcha.
I have the first two chapters of the third book written, but they've been in development stasis for years now.
Yeah.
I don't think the writing of the first book was up to par with, at least with what I have now. The second book is intense and very it's everything I think a middle act should be.
Uh-huh.
Where it's grayer than the first one, more complicated. The characters are more complex. Now that we know them a bit, we can do a bit more with them. And I'm very happy with the second book. And the third book would have rounded things out nicely. And then I also plan to have a prequel trilogy and a sequel trilogy. Remind you of anything?
So this would essentially run parallel with branches intertwining.
Yeah.
With the main...
The prequel trilogy would have experienced the Starfire's parents as they were both in the Jedi Order. They fell in love but had to hide that from the Order. And then how they dealt with Order 66 later on. And then, of course, were killed themselves because that had to have happened. The sequel trilogy would have been interesting because I would have blended elements from the new Disney canon and the older canon. Because I didn't start thinking about that until The Force Awakens came out.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been interesting. I just don't... We may not ever see it.
It can just be an Elseworld.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't know if I'll ever write it.
Yeah.
But, when I write a Star Wars book, I would take... Wesley and I were talking earlier about Knights of the Old Republic 2, and if you are a Star Wars fan worth your salt, you have played one of the Knights of the Old Republic games. Which Wesley is not, because he hasn't. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess I'm a shitty Star Wars fan.
But Knights of the Old Republic 2 is one of the most fascinating Star Wars stories out there. It deals with the universe in such a way that it really makes you take the entire Star Wars lore and you look at it in a completely different way. That's what I want. That's what I wanted my books to do.
It really makes me wish that somebody would have come along and blended that game with Grand Theft Auto.
Well, they were going to, and then Disney fucking canceled it. It was called Star Wars 1313.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was based off bounty hunters.
Okay.
And they canceled
steal
it.
Speeders and...
Probably.
Hook up with...
And they fucking canceled it.
Prostitutes.
And...
Murder anybody you want.
Probably, I don't know. It would have been one of the first Star Wars games to have a higher rating.
Yeah.
Like a mature rating, I think.
Well, and I think you need that. Even if Disney owns it, I think you have to... and this is something that I think Deadpool showed us, is that you have to have something in your arsenal that appeals only to adults.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what the corporations are afraid of is slapping an R rating on something and then it can't make as much money, which is why they did that to Venom. They basically cut the ball sack off of Venom.
Right, but you still see, like I said, I'm going back to Deadpool.
Deadpool made a fuck ton of money.
It's made over $1 billion
exactly.
worldwide.
Exactly. Are the corporations going to learn anything from that? Maybe make another Deadpool movie. But beyond that, they're not going to take any hints.
I don't understand. And what's crazy is, did Sony... It's not Sony. Fox owns X-Men.
Yeah. Well, they did.
Yeah, so Fox had the balls to do it because they did Deadpool, they did Logan, both of which were insane. And they had R ratings.
Yeah.
You see these characters in comic books. And comic books are ultra violent. The only difference is it's still panels.
Right.
So your imagination kind of fills in the blanks.
Right.
But Sabretooth is fucking some dude up.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to kind of sugarcoat that because you know what's happening. And then, did you hear any of the stuff about Batman Damned that came out? DC put it out. DC was starting this new thing called DC Black Label. And it was content geared towards mature audiences.
Right. Hey, if anybody's going to do that, it's DC.
And so it was pretty...
They've got the characters for it.
Everybody was excited. They promised ultra violence. They promised... adult language, they promised
mature stuff.
Nudity, they promised all of these things. And everybody got all excited because it's just a bunch of fucking nerds sitting in their mom's basement saying, ooh, I get to see Catwoman's boobs. And then in the first issue, Azzarello comes out and he goes, no, you don't get to see Catwoman's boobs, but you do get to see Batman's junk.
No!
Yeah,
oh!
You get to see Batman's junk.
Oh,
and
no.
People freaked out. But you want to know what would have happened? If they had shown Catwoman's boobs, nobody would have freaked out.
No.
So a few people would have been mad. Like, oh, okay, you're showing women naked. That's just what nerds want to see.
They're not wrong.
And it wasn't Batman just walking around like slapping people in the face with it. He was massively injured. He's in the Batcave and he's just crawling out of his...
So, of course, that would be when you would see something like that.
He's having his computer scanning, looking for injuries.
They're just taking the liberty to be able to show everything.
But he also shows up naked a couple of other times in the book. And what I thought was awesome, and I think this is where the nudity lends itself, is that you only saw him naked when he was Bruce Wayne.
Right.
When he's Batman, he's Batman. But when he takes off his suit, he's naked. Because that's when he's at his most vulnerable.
Exactly.
And so nobody wanted to look at the subtext. Nobody wanted to look deeper.
They just wanted to freak out.
I don't want to see penis, man. Whenever I open a book, I just want to see titties and violence.
Because we live in a world of outrage culture.
It's insane. It's such a good story. And luckily, I got an issue. They only made one printing. They made the printing. I got it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, well, in the second printing, we'll airbrush it down. It'll be blacked out.
God damn.
You won't see it. Then people were still outraged. And so they said, no second printing. There's only the... Now, I think they're still making them.
Yeah.
I think...
They're lucky if they're going to.
I think they're going to go with an issue 2 and 3, and they're going to continue.
They're probably going to tone it down, aren't they?
They probably will.
God.
Which sucks, because what's the point of a black label then?
Exactly, and that's what outrage culture gets us. It gets this stupid shit for no fuck. Anytime anybody has the balls to actually try something, one person gets a bunch of other fucking people, these sheep, riled up about it, and then nobody's allowed to have any fun.
Yeah, we had an opportunity, and hopefully DC is just using this as like publicity. Hopefully.
They're getting plenty of publicity off of their failing movies, I would say.
Well, their comics are destroying the market.
Oh, I'm sure.
Marvel can't do shit with the
No,
comic.
of course.
Other than their Star Wars line and a few other choice pieces that they're doing, Marvel can't get their shit together when it comes to comics. But
Marvel's been all over the place, I think. At least from what I'm not a comic book fan. I don't read comics, but from what I've gathered, it feels like they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Is that right?
Yeah, and they're not pushing the envelope on anything.
And that's what people need to be doing. Like DC with their blacklist. Except when that happens, people freak out. We already had this conversation.
Welcome to Comic Den, brought to you by DC Black Label.
This is where we're going to see everybody's junk.
Yeah.
So just picture it.
Yeah.
We're sitting here naked.
We're actually at the table naked.
Yep.
But we don't have video.
Nope.
So.
Sorry, guys. No treats for you. Now, here's the thing. Why didn't we get Bruce Wayne's junk and Catwoman's boobs?
Well, they had promised that you were going to see Catwoman and
Why would they promise something like that?
I think Wonder Woman's boobs.
Why would they promise something just to draw in the thirsty bastards?
It's not like DC came out and had a press conference and they're like, "Listen,
guys, guess what?
We're showing boobs.
Guess what, guys? Coming this Christmas, Catwoman's tits."
Yeah, I think it was just one of the people on the project was doing an interview. And they're like, "Yeah, you might see Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman topless,
well,
or Catwoman topless."
Yeah, you got to choose your words.
So everybody was like super excited. I'm like, like if you have any artistic ability, you can draw her boobs, right?
Yeah,
like you can,
or you can go to rule34.com.
Yeah. I'm just like, it's drawn.
Yeah,
like you can draw that. I can draw boobs.
It's not like a real defined person, right?
It's not like you're gonna see Gal Gadot's boobs. And even still, if you're a good enough artist, you can draw Gal Gadot topless.
Exactly. So, but of course they wouldn't have the talent for that.
No.
But it means their boobs are open to interpretation.
Yeah. That's right. Just put a mole somewhere.
Whatever's good with you, man. It's your interpretation of Catwoman's boobs. This is so ridiculous.
We've taken a turn, guys.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Anyway, we should keep going on Vader.
So, back to Star Wars.
Yes. How are we going to come back from this?
Okay, so if they were to make this comic into some sort of visual media other than comics, would it do better as a movie, as a streaming show, HBO style, or something on regular TV?
Well, I don't know anything about HBO because I don't watch Game of Thrones. And as everyone knows, that's the only reason to get HBO. Probably, I don't know. We don't need it. We don't need this as a movie, unless it was a Star Wars story movie. Which, in that case, I'd be fine if it was an offshoot. Which is, because that's what the Star Wars stories are supposed to be, like Rogue One was, and Solo was not. But I think it would probably best as episodic content. So you could stream it, or you could air it live.
Okay, so if it went to streaming, it would be on the new Disney streaming that they're making.
Of course it would.
Would Disney have the balls to make a show that would live up to Vader's evil?
No.
Because they made a movie, Rogue One. That was the baddest anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, I know. And that was what was surprising. Because since Rogue One, the only thing they've had to do, the only thing they've had the balls to do is The Last Jedi, and look what happened then.
Right.
And I think we talked about Last Jedi last time, so if you were paying attention, you should know how I feel about it. To quickly recap, I think it has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. Underwhelming.
It could have been a lot better, and it should have been a lot better as the middle act of a new trilogy. I am obsessed with middle acts. Those are the most important part of a trilogy. But after the backlash that got for taking risks, and after the backlash of Solo, I feel like they're probably going to be playing it safe a lot more. So
we won't get any good Vader.
Probably not. No. They'll play their cards close to the chest, and they'll play it simple. Yeah. We won't get anything intriguing like this is.
It's so disappointing because I think if you went dark and gritty, like Daredevil on Netflix, I think
which is being canceled, isn't it?
Well,
no, that was Iron Fist.
Iron Fist and Luke Cage got canceled.
Which I never saw anyway.
But the thing is, they weren't terrible, and even if they did well, Disney's taking them.
Yeah.
Disney's already said Infinity War will go to Netflix, and then as soon as their streaming comes up, they're buying all their content back.
Right.
And so Daredevil, even though it's widely successful, and everybody loves every season of Daredevil, it's gonna get pulled once Disney gets that content.
Is Daredevil Marvel?
Yes.
That's okay. Yeah.
So Daredevil, Jessica Jones, both of those are gonna get pulled. So everybody's making a big deal that those two got chopped, but they were going to anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
the less successful ones that I'm not surprised about. Didn't everybody hate Iron Fist?
Yeah, everybody did. I didn't think they were bad stories. I liked Iron Fist more than I liked Luke Cage.
Luke Cage.
I'm
kind of mad. I'm kind of mad at Luke Cage because they stole Mike Coulter from Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was playing the main character. He played the main character of Agent Locke in Halo Nightfall, and then he did the mocap for him in Halo 5. But then he had to get he went over to Luke Cage, so they had to get another guy to do the voice, which was fine. Ike Azadi did a great job.
Right.
It's just the disconnect. I value in a production. I value continuity more than anything. I will take continuity above quality any fucking day. If you change something, I'm gonna be pissed as fuck about it.
That's how all people who are in this like nerd world fandom are. They do not like change.
I mean, and I like change. It's the change that doesn't make sense in the universe.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when in between Halo 3 and 4, and this isn't a huge issue, but in Halo 3, at the end of Halo 3, Master Chief is left drifting in a ship called the Forward Unto Dawn, and it looks one way. And then in Halo 4, they completely redesigned the look of this ship, and I can't fucking figure out why. That was something that burned me a little bit.
Or Harry Potter.
What happened in Harry Potter?
Well, Harry Potter, they started changing stupid shit in the book.
No, I think she's talking about in the movies. Okay.
Fantastic Beasts and all that.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Well, no, that's a little bit different. Because that's in a different time period. But I think we're talking about visual disconnects.
What bugged me... Okay, so I'm one of those people who reads a book and then I watch a movie. Mm-hmm. And I try to keep that disconnected. Mm-hmm. Like, they're two separate things. Because I don't want to leave a movie. I just paid a bunch of money to go see a movie.
Right.
I don't want... Why would I be disappointed?
Right.
So I try to keep that disconnected. But there were scenes in, I think it was like the fourth movie, where in the book, Hermione said something to Harry, and then in the movie...
They changed it
to somebody else said something. I'm like, why would you even
Well,
change
I
that?
understand why stuff like that happens. It's usually something like to give another actor more screen time, because people won't join a production if they don't get paid enough. Or to completely cut out the role of a smaller character that didn't really matter anyway.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, with the Harry Potter movies, I'm very happy with how they turned out. I treat the books and the movies as two separate entities and appreciate for what they are. I don't hate movie adaptation of books if they're different from the book. I hate them when they're bad movies. The Hobbit! The Hobbit! The Hobbit! The Hobbit! I like The Hobbit.
I just want to go on record that the first installation of The Hobbit is better than the entire book of The Hobbit.
Fuck off. The Hobbit is one of the best books ever written.
The Hobbit.
Fuck off.
The Hobbit book is nothing more.
No, shut up. We did this at work.
Than a glorified Dr. Seuss book.
No, Dr. Seuss wasn't even around yet.
Doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
It doesn't matter.
God. You know how to piss me off.
The Hobbit book sucked balls. All right,
no! So my point with Vader earlier was they would not be able to show the personality that they're giving Vader here because they would be scared it would piss people off. And I know that because, relating back to Halo 4, they gave the Chief a personality, and the common sheep bitched about how much he talked because he didn't talk in the previous games.
Right.
They would not do that with Vader because people would go, oh, Vader's supposed to be this emotionless killing machine.
Right.
They don't fucking get it.
And then he's got all this deep personality.
No, who has deep personality?
And not only that, not only is he the most dangerous man in the galaxy, he is the best troll in the galaxy.
God, he is. Yeah, no,
there's
he
a
is.
scene. Okay, so this is going to go Volume 1, Volume 2, and then there was a crossover that they did with Star Wars called Vader Down. Mm-hmm. It has one of my favorite lines in all of comics.
Oh, boy.
And I kind of want to just spoil it for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so...
I'll still enjoy it if it's that good.
So he's on this planet. He crashes down on this planet, and the rebels have him surrounded. And they're calling down to it. And I'm going to butcher what he says. But he's like, Vader, we have you surrounded, or something like that. You've got to see that we have you surrounded, or something along those lines. And Vader goes, no. All I see are dead men.
Oh, Vader, damn, dropping it like it's hot.
Yeah, God, it's so good. And it's just all of that.
Where do you think he got that from? Because I don't remember. Well, I guess Anakin was a bit like that, wasn't he?
Just being a smartass.
He always was,
It's his
I guess.
cockiness.
Yeah.
It's his cockiness that's coming through.
Isn't that incredible how that transferred over to Vader?
Cockiness leads to the dark
That's right. He's full of himself.
But that is incredible character continuity. You lose all of your limbs, you lose your wife, you lose your kid, you murder children, and you still have that character trait. That is incredible writing.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. It's literally one of my favorite scenes in all of comics.
That's awesome.
Okay, so how did Volume 2 stack up to Volume 1?
I thought it was a worthy successor.
Yeah?
They kept going with the themes. Most notably, what I was looking for was continuity with Vader and Afra's relationship, and it did that pretty well. I think it's really fascinating that Afra is clearly scared shitless of Vader, because she fucking knows he's got her by the proverbial balls.
Yeah, her time is almost up.
But she's gonna love every fucking second of it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're gonna be in that situation.
That's an awesome dynamic.
Yeah.
We don't see any of that anywhere. That's so unique.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And of course, you've got the two droids fucking things up the entire way. And oh my god, they're awesome. I'll talk about that in a minute if we get to this scene.
Okay, so diverging a little bit off of the comic, Mandalorian Wars getting their own show.
No, that's not. The Mandalorian Wars happened 4,000 years before The Phantom Menace. This show is about one Mandalorian.
No, it's called The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it doesn't happen during the Mandalorian War.
Oh, okay.
Unless they're making a new one. Don't fucking do it, Disney. We already had one. I know you already said it wasn't canon, but we already had one. It is canon to me. Because it was Knights.
I'm sure that's what they're taking into account as your feelings.
They'd fucking better. I am so important. They really need to consult me before taking any further action. They should have let me write The Last Jedi. Just like they should have let me write Alien Covenant and Halo 5. I could have done it so much better.
Yeah, did you put in an application?
I really should, shouldn't I? They might take notice of me then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
This guy keeps sending us scripts.
You know, hey, this is really good.
The problem is, I think you're sending them and they're all labeled Anthrax.
You're telling me if I put the word anthrax on it, they're not gonna get it?
You can't do that.
Oh man.
They immediately blow it up. That's what they do.
Wow, I had no fucking clue.
Yeah. See?
I thought I was doing something wrong. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
That's right. So if you could explore any aspect of the Star Wars universe just a little bit deeper, what aspect of it would it be?
See, the problem with that is what hasn't been explored.
Well, we don't know what we don't know.
That's fair, but the stuff that I like is like the Clone Troopers. They got their own show. They were pretty well fleshed out. Pretty happy with that. The time between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope is now, it used to be sparse and now it is bloated, full of good content like Rebels, like these comics. I would say right now I would want to see something that takes place between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. Because there's a few books, and there's this new show, Resistance, which looks fucking awful. But other than that, we don't really have a whole lot we don't really know what happened during that time period.
Yeah.
So, I guess that would be cool. We got some good characters. I want to see Luke training his Jedi before Kylo kills them all.
I want to see more of 000.
Yeah.
And his astromech friend.
Yeah, you know, they are a lot like HK-47. I think that he might be an homage to HK-47, a protocol droid with a tendency for violence.
Yeah.
And really funny quips. Really funny quips.
God. Haha, now you're dead.
No, what was it where he goes, okay, I'm going to talk about it. They're playing Dejarik, the holo chess, and he suspects his opponent has cheated. And he says, would it be the whole room, just shake my hand.
Yeah.
Just shake like fair players. And you know he's got some sort of fucking electricity killing machine built in. And then later the whole room erupts in gunfire for reasons. And he goes, he says, BT, wouldn't it be a shame if he got shot in all the crossfire? BT pulls out this fucking laser machine gun and riddles this guy full
of lasers.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
Frickin'
lasers, man.
Okay, getting into issue 1.
Uh-huh.
We open with Vader gazing at the horizon
on
Tatooine.
Fucking scene. Such a good fucking scene. Keep going.
He's standing outside of his half-brother Owen's house, just looking out.
And you know, we never got to...
What's going
We
through
never
his-
got to see the aftermath of the fire.
Yeah.
This is the first time in how many years since 1977? This is the first time we've come back to the Lars homestead.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So what are the emotions that are flooding through his being right now?
Who fucking knows, man? I mean, I'm sure there's probably some regret, some confusion probably at his own feelings, why he's feeling regret.
Well, this was his last family member. Because he doesn't know. I mean, I guess now he does.
He knows now, yeah, sure, but
this is his last tie to the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Luke's his future, but this was his last tie. This is his last reason to come to Tatooine.
You know what you have to do with the past.
Other than his yearly Sand people massacre. You can do that a bit in Knights of the Old Republic 1, by the way, and kill sand people.
But you know, a certain grandchild of Darth Vader has some advice about the past.
Oh yeah,
let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Do it. Just kill it.
Burn it. Yeah.
Have you seen the Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru model kit?
No.
Yeah, it's right after the fire. It's just a box of ashes.
Oh, fuck. Ah, you got me. Have you seen the old parody where it was, you know, the show Cops, Bad Boys, what you gonna do? But it was stormtroopers. And it shows them arresting and then shooting the Larses. No. It was so fucking funny. That was way, way back in the day they made that.
And then, you know how you used to be able to buy those little action figures of, like, Luke and Vader and all that? They stood about, 3 inches tall?
Yeah.
Well, they had one that was an Uncle Owen, and it was just a charred skeleton.
I remember there was a fake Lego set of Count Dooku, and it was just his head.
God, people get brutal with that
yeah,
stuff.
It's good though.
Okay, so
ooh, or there was Alderaan, and it was literally just a bunch of
it's
rocks.
just a box of
yeah.
rocks. Yeah. The Alderaan starter kit.
How painful. Okay, go.
So
we cannot keep this straight tonight.
Yeah,
keep going.
Right. So in here, Aphra says the place is dead. It's been dead for weeks. No one alive. Nothing inside. And then Vader says there was a boy. He left when his family was slain. And then there is perhaps a trace of his presence. And Aphra points out the giant MacGuffin in all Star Wars. She goes, Force stuff.
Yeah.
Understood.
You know, that is...
like...
It's so great to see some in-universe content acknowledging how much of a MacGuffin the Force can be.
No, it's just Force stuff.
But that's perfect, because that's exactly how a non-Jedi would see it.
Yeah.
We don't fucking get it.
Right.
You know? Force stuff.
Yeah. Because science.
You just accept it, because it's the Force. Which is fine. That's great.
So was this done as like a tongue-in-cheek thing, or was
fuck yeah.
kind of like a happy accident?
Come on, after how many years since A New Hope have we used the Force as a driving point in the story?
Right.
Yeah, at some point you have to acknowledge it if you're going to retain any credibility.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Acknowledge it and keep using it. At least you've acknowledged it. You fucking know.
Yeah. It's amazing when they can kind of poke fun at themselves.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, other people will.
Yeah, if you just ignore it, then it becomes a plot hole.
Right.
If you acknowledge it, it becomes like I see what you did there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's writing, kids.
Yeah. So Aphra makes this amazing point in here when they're talking about we just missed the boy, because that's why Vader's there. He's looking for Luke.
Right.
And so she makes this amazing point that if they would have just left them alone, Luke would have
Luke
been...
probably wouldn't have gone and blown up the Death Star.
Yeah, would Luke still be there? Would the Death Star still be there if they would have just
not fucking killed them? Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't know if we talked about this last time. You know how people talk about how Rey is a Mary Sue?
Mm-hmm.
What is Luke then? He got off a farm, piloted a military spacecraft, and destroyed the most heavily armed installation in known space.
Yeah, I mean...
I'll just let that one sink with you. Go on. Go ahead.
But he was really good at blasting womp rats.
Womp rats, sure. You don't have military-grade turbo lasers firing at you, or the best pilot in the galaxy.
Have you ever seen a womp rat? You don't know if they have military-grade lasers.
I can tell you they don't. I've seen womp rats. I know what womp rats
You've
are.
seen actual womp rats?
Not in real life, but in other Star Wars media.
Like what?
Oh, I don't fucking know. There was a comic or something a long time ago.
Well, I guess the womp rats on Tatooine look a lot like the Death Star.
No, they look like the Death Star's blasting hole. It's just, and people say, oh, well, it's because he was strong in the Force. So was Rey.
Yeah.
So your argument fails if... Anyway, go on.
Rey.
I like Rey a lot, yeah. They're just going to fuck her up in the next movie, and they're going to make her parents Obi-Wan Kenobi, and who the fuck knows.
Yeah, that's really going to piss me off.
Oh, it's going to piss me off. It's just what happened with Prometheus.
Ooh, unless Ghost Obi-Wan shacked up with somebody.
Oh my god. Now we're stretching
it. And then she's part ghost. Because he's nothing but the Force. That's what he is. He's a Force ghost.
Well, hold up. That already happened. Its name is Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
He didn't... If they go this route again, oh my god.
So you're saying that Anakin's mom got ghost fucked by a Jedi?
No, she got ghost fucked by the Force. Literally, that's what they say. The concentration of midichlorians conceived Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, he has no father.
Yeah,
there is no
he
father.
was conceived by the Force. The Force fucked Shmi Skywalker.
Maybe, though, it could have been a Jedi, though, who had died and just, like, banged...
What is the difference?
What we need... Okay, here's what we need. We need a movie set up Paranormal Activity style in Anakin's mom's house.
Oh no!
9 months before he was born.
Oh my god. That's probably the movie that we don't need, I think. Oh,
I think somebody should definitely get on that movie.
Oh, poor Shmi Skywalker. You know, there are people who are obsessed with getting Shmi Skywalker her own movie.
Really?
Yeah, well, there's one guy. This one guy, while I like him because he's the only person I've ever met who shares my opinion on Halo 4, he obsesses over really trivial things like we need female brutes in Halo more, and Shmi Skywalker needs her own movie. I'm like, why?
I don't know that I mean, obviously, if you can do it right, it'd be a good movie.
But why? There's so many other things you could do instead.
Yeah.
It's like, they want a Boba Fett movie. Why?
Okay, Boba Fett is the most overrated.
He had 5 lines in the trilogy, and one of them was ah.
Yeah, as he fell into the
he fell into a stationary pit.
Yeah,
and died.
Yeah, like not even gracefully fell into.
No.
It.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super overrated.
Django did more than he did.
I want to see that goddamn Wookiee.
Chewbacca?
No.
Tarful.
No.
No.
Karakistan or something. The giant black
Wookiee?
one that hangs out with.
Oh, that one. Yeah, in the book. Yeah. Okay, sure. That would be interesting because that type of Wookiee puts the Wookiee stereotype on its head. You know, the noble savage stereotype. He's just evil and crazy. Yeah. I'd see that.
That'd make an awesome movie.
That's what we need Star Wars stories to be like. Stuff we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Like in Rogue One, it showed the grayer parts of the rebellion.
Right.
It showed the small stories of those who are trapped in the Civil War.
Yeah.
And Solo showed us the speeder chase and the dice and the fucking shower scene between Chewie and Han.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry. Go on.
I mean, I liked it.
I mean, it was enjoyable. It's just like, why?
Specifically the shower scene.
You kinky bastard.
So Afra, but this scene really did hit me. So Afra makes this point.
We're still on the first page, aren't we?
Yes. If they had just left him alone, perhaps he never would have left.
That's such a good point.
We also know that even before they died, Luke wanted to leave and be a pilot for the rebellion.
No, he wanted to join the Imperial Academy. He just wanted to be a pilot.
He wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah. But he could have defected the rebellion like Biggs Darklighter did.
Okay, so let's follow that. He just wanted to be a pilot.
Right.
So they leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
Is Vader still going to be drawn to him through the Force?
I mean, the Force does work in mysterious ways, maybe. It probably wanted them to bring bring them together, because Vader was still the chosen one who was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and the way that happened is by Luke redeeming him. So it probably would have worked out one way or another.
So if Vader would have been drawn by the Force to Luke, would Luke have joined Vader once he realized that was his dad?
If Obi-Wan hadn't been able to get to him, I think maybe, yeah. Because while Luke was very noble at heart, he was very impressionable early on, and Obi-Wan was just the one to get the first impression.
Right. Because Luke has no connection to what's going on.
Yeah, the
bigger galaxy.
The only things that you see are when he says, "It's not like I have any love for the Empire, I hate it." And then he also, when 3PO mentions the rebellion, Luke gets right up and he says, "You know of the rebellion against the Empire?" Yeah. That's the only clues we have about how Luke feels about it. But
it's just something far away and exciting.
If he met his father, and his father was the one to get the first drop on him, maybe. Now, we also have to think of another scenario. What if Luke never got to leave? What if Owen kept saying, one more season. And then, what if they died, and Luke felt like it was his job to take care of the farm? Because we see that happen in real life all the time.
Right.
People plan and plan and plan, but they never actually go do anything.
Yeah.
So what if he never became a pilot, and he just stayed on Tatooine?
Yeah, well, okay, so that brings the point to, is the Force... We know you can train yourself in the Force, but can you exercise the Force? Is it a muscle that has to be exercised or you lose it?
In some ways, yes, I think, because it is inside those sensitive to it at all times, but stuff like that does have to be trained upon. While it's there, you may not be aware of it. You will not know how to use it unless you've had training.
Right.
So, yes and no. Now, the other thing we have to keep in mind is, even if Luke never left Tatooine, he was not the only Skywalker in play.
That's right.
There was one very involved against Vader.
Yeah, from the very beginning.
So maybe Leia would have taken his place.
Maybe.
What could have been? What could have been?
Yeah.
Of course, Leia never actually did anything in the original trilogies.
Yeah, she didn't.
She didn't do anything. Why is she the only one still alive at the end of The Last Jedi?
It's just how it works out.
Yeah.
So we see Vader's kind of foreseeing all of the stuff that went down there. He sees the giant mark on the wall where a lightsaber had hit it, and he knows that Luke fought Boba Fett here. Yeah. And he kind of has a proud daddy moment. He's like, "Oh, my son.
He knows how to use a saber.
My son.
That's so nice.
My boy.
My boy.
My boy fought off again.
That's my son. That's my boy. That's my boy." It's Amos Diggory in Goblet of Fire, for those of you who don't know. When he sees Cedric dead, he goes, "That's my son! That's my boy!" Watch Goblet of Fire. It's funny as shit.
I've seen Goblet of Fire a year and a half ago.
It's so cringy.
No, it's not. It's actually good acting. It's just...
It's the first movie that took off away from the book.
Yeah, because they had to.
Every other one was like verbatim.
Because the other books were fucking short. But like, there they are right there. Look at how small the first three are, and then Goblet of Fire is like 2 of those.
Yeah.
And then Order of the Phoenix is the longest book in the series.
Right. So why did Vader feel the need to purge this area?
Let the past die, kill it if you have to. Probably so that the Emperor didn't send some agent after him and maybe find out what he was feeling. Because if the Emperor ever felt like Vader wanted to get Luke, the Emperor would be like, "Oh, they're going to try to kill me."
So bombs can destroy feelings?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
It's just, that's a big-ass bomb that they detonated
in
this tiny little house.
I know. Maybe it's a physical thing. Like, if you can detect some sort of like force trace, maybe that can be overridden by radiation or something.
Yeah. So, and I even wrote that down on my notes. Like, was he trying to hide Luke from Palpatine?
I think he was trying to hide how he felt about Luke from Palpatine.
You don't think he was just trying to hide Luke?
I mean, that could have been part of it too.
Because Vader's big plan is to
get Luke,
kill Palpatine, have Luke take Vader's spot. Vader takes Palpatine's
spot. Right.
But if Luke comes along, that's another challenger to Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know anything about Palpatine, it's that he likes to pit people against each other and see who comes out of the scuffle.
And he always wants the newest model.
Right.
One far younger and more powerful.
And we see that all throughout here.
Mm-hmm.
Another scene. So we go
it's
to
like he's car shopping.
We go to Sun Tool. Tool?
Let me see. Is it
Tuul?
Tool.
Very literal in their enunciation. So they go to Sun Tool.
Probably Huttese.
They find this bounty hunter who's been like putting corpses in this safe.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's trying to intimidate Vader, saying, "Oh, you don't impress me. I don't care about you."
Mm-hmm. Wrong things to say to Vader.
Yeah, Vader comes in, says it's pointless to resist, blast everybody away.
Can you not just hear that line in James Earl Jones's voice?
It is pointless to resist. We have Vader, and he says, "This is pointless to resist." Everything starts going nuts. This giant rhinoceros gets freed. And Vader could kill this dude any number of ways.
Oh, sure.
First of all, he comes at Vader with a knife.
Fucking moron.
And then, so Vader just picks him up with the Force, shoves him into this rhinoceros's mouth, and then stabs his lightsaber through the rhinoceros's head.
Yeah.
Metal
as fuck, dude.
Holy crap.
Who is it where does this quote come from? I know the quote and I can't remember what it is. There's 100 ways I could kill you right now and 91 of them hurt. Who said that?
I have no idea.
Who the fuck said that?
Awesome.
Yeah. God, I'm going to have to look that up.
So the interesting thing here is Vader is making a deal with the Hutts.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of getting in bed with them.
Ew.
So the the Empire knows it can't stop the smuggling. Right? It knows it's not going to stop smuggling. It knows it's not going to be able to stop the black market. But it also knows that if utilized, then this black market can be very profitable to the Empire.
Right.
So it's almost like I'd rather have you working side by side with me than working against me.
You know, we've actually seen that before in Star Wars. Again, I'll make a Knights of the Old Republic allusion. In the second game, you see that a droid by the name of Goto or Goto is running this massive smuggling ring out of Nar Shaddaa, which is completely illegal, but it's generating profit for the Republic because as a droid, his primary goal is to save the Republic.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting. Like, do you think our government is supporting the gray side?
Absolutely.
They have to.
I wrote it. I have it in my notes right here.
Yeah.
The U.S. government either uses or allows cartels and mobsters.
They'd have to, otherwise everything would collapse.
Well, during Prohibition, I mean, all the government people were still drinking.
Oh, sure.
Everybody who had any power was still drinking.
Sure.
We use drug cartels now to do whatever we want. Ronald Reagan took out a government leader and then put in an even worse leader who said that he liked us.
Right.
So, I mean, we're constantly doing that. We live in this black area that we can't acknowledge, but we still profit greatly from.
Because the world's not just black and white. It's a bunch of shades of gray all throughout. 50 shades of gray, you might even say.
At least. At least.
Talk about showing junk.
Yeah.
I had to watch all those movies.
So, in a relationship such as this, aren't you just looking for a way that one of the two parties is going to screw the other one over?
Everybody is, aren't they?
I mean, you're dealing with people that you can't trust, who also don't trust you.
Right.
Because they're trying to undermine you at every turn, but you're also
trying to
catch them.
It creates this weird equilibrium where nobody actually beats anybody, and it keeps the status quo. I can't wrap my head around it. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. We get this. We get this panel of this Wookiee fighting ring, and I'll say it again. Chrysantan needs a goddamn movie.
Of course, the Wookiees get treated like shit. That's
fine. They even mention that. They say it's the Wookiee fighting pit or whatever they call it, and they're slaves. They capture them. Chrysantan showed up, volunteered to get in, and at first they told him no, so he killed the guy that was supposed to fight so he could jump in and fight in his place.
Just to fight. Man, you never want to piss off a mad Wookiee.
Yeah, and this guy is always pissed off.
I hear they rip your arms off.
So here we see Aphra double-crossing Vader. She's got all these bounty hunters and all these assassins and all these thieves. They met in this bar. They've got Chrysantan and they've got all these other guys there. And this ship that took off from the Hutt's planet, or Sun Tool.
Yeah.
That ship was loaded up with credits. And now here's Aphra saying, guess what, guys? We're going to rob this ship. So is she double-crossing Vader?
Of course not. I was not fooled for a second. Because no one in their right mind, especially not Aphra, would double-cross Vader. Because one, Aphra loves Vader. Maybe not loves, but really likes him.
Yeah. Definitely a very strong respect.
And even if you didn't, don't be stupid enough. Who's more dangerous, a couple of bounty hunters or Darth Vader?
Chrysantan's pretty dangerous.
But Darth Vader is more dangerous.
I'd like to see the two fight.
Darth Vader would force choke him, and then he would be dead.
That's
probably
the easy way out.
Yeah, and Vader wouldn't take the easy way out, but Vader would win. No contest.
Yeah, you're right.
I know.
So we're getting into issue 2, and their plan is to get this fake meteor and then blow a hole in this ship and then collect all the stuff.
Right. That's the idea.
Yeah. And so
keep going.
What are you telling me that nobody's ever tried this before?
Like in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, you're telling me that there are billions of asteroids and billions of meteors and billions of everything out there, and nobody has ever once tried to pretend to be a meteor and steal stuff?
I don't know. You'd probably need a certain set of technology to do that and be targeting the right ship who couldn't properly detect you. In the right sort of circumstances, that would be baffling their sensors, right?
And that's my next thing. No sensors picked up the tech from this rock?
On an Artequins class light cruiser? Fuck no.
You say that like I'm supposed to know what you're talking about.
No, but I know what I'm talking about. No, Artequins classes...
Everyone who's anyone knows that their tech sucks. That is Apple iPod Volume 1.
They're literally just a support ship. And they were a support warship in the Clone Wars, but then they got even stripped of that.
They don't even get Wi-Fi.
Probably not. They're like the basic-ass workhorses now. They don't have anything special. Couple point defense guns.
I'm still not believing that this has never happened to anybody before.
I mean, it probably has, but probably not to these guys.
Yeah, I guess. And then all of a sudden this Star Wars comic turns into Ocean's 11.
Or Ocean's 8.
Yeah,
I did like that movie. Of course, I haven't seen Ocean's 11.
So it just turns into a heist movie. She's explaining what everybody's doing, and they're going in and they're stealing all the shit. And the asteroid belt, the fake asteroids that they sent flying, were a decoy to blow a hole in the back so that they thought they were just getting hit. So, in this universe, is there some, like, blatant racism towards robots?
Yeah.
Because as they're busting into this thing after they've thrown off all the sensors and stuff, I don't normally do this sort of droid work.
Organics have been using droids as basically slaves since droids' inception. They get treated as second-class citizens. If you are done with your droid, you don't get to retire them or anything. You throw them in a melter and you get a new one. They are property. Kind of like slaves. But droids have been developing personalities. And that is something we see a little bit of in Solo, to be fair.
Okay, so what happens though? Why is this allowed? Because droids do have personalities.
Some of them do. You have to be around for a long time without a memory wipe for a droid to develop a personality.
So as soon as your droid starts developing a personality, you
just
wipe
them.
memory?
Yep. You wipe them and they forget everything you ever did to him.
Gotcha.
That's the beauty of it. They're slaves that you can make them forget how you treated them.
Right.
Until they don't. And then you just poof.
So the heist goes semi-smoothly.
Yeah.
It was all right. They had to blow up a few droids. But then they blow out the back of the ship. All these credits. All these credits just start flying
Jess, get out of there.
The cat's breaking into the cabinet.
You're so smart. I'm so proud of you. Keep going.
So all these credits start floating out into space, and they collect all of them that they can.
By the way, I know it's Star Wars, so I'm fine with it because incredulous shit happens all the time in Star Wars. But there's no fucking way that would actually work, like with real physics or anything.
So they only get 2 barrels, essentially, of credits. And then everybody's like...
2 very large barrels.
Yeah.
It's like saying Call of Duty 4 or Black Ops 4 only made $500 million.
But everybody's pissed off because it was supposed to be a much larger haul.
Again.
And they tell Afra, hey, if you double-crossed us, blah, 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 whatever. And then we find out that there's a mountain of credits. And so...
hidden away from the other bounty hunters.
Yeah, we all knew the double cross was coming.
Yeah.
But it was still very satisfying.
Oh, it always is, if done properly.
So she did the smart thing, and she got the one person who was the most dangerous to be on her side.
And he vacuumed up most of the credits that got away. I'm doing finger quotes here.
Yeah.
And kept them for themselves. Or at least to give to who comes in next. Walking out of the shadows like a fucking gargoyle.
Vader.
Uh-huh.
And we have Vader, who you said you weren't surprised that he was in on it.
No, of course not. It's probably his whole fucking idea.
Well, of course it is. He needs to be able to pay for all of his shenanigans that are about to go on.
Reminder, folks, he got his own droid factory. And some other shit, too. Like a chrome-plated J-type Nubian. That had to have been expensive.
Yeah. And now he has the money to have Afra go around the galaxy, bribe whoever needs bribing, get whatever needs getting, and he's got a means of production for an army.
Exactly.
So he's kind of building his own little secret empire. The problem is, though, he doesn't only have Palpatine to worry about now.
Mm-hmm.
We saw at the very end of Volume 1 that there are some people gunning for his replacements. Now, out of those replacements, who do you see as the most dangerous?
Oh, let's see. There were twins. There was Admiral Akbar Grievous. Ooh, he's General Grievous, but he's a Mon Calamari.
Yeah, and then you have the
girl with all the balls. It's a woman who is synced up to a fuck ton of remotes.
Yeah.
And then there was...
the other guy died.
Right, so it's just them.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're all kind of fucking stupid. The twins are all right. The twins are interesting, but they're still fake as hell.
Yeah, so the twins were specifically supposed to be the replacement for Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of them kind of are, but they are very specifically supposed to be
And they're
an algorithm for somebody who can use their lightsabers more efficiently.
And
they don't have any force powers.
And they're the closest you'd see to typical Jedi because they have robes, they have lightsabers, but they're still fake as hell.
Yeah, and that was the whole point, is Palpatine's trying to find a more efficient way to create an apprentice rather than teach an apprentice.
You gotta teach your apprentice, Palpy. You're doing it wrong, man. You can't just take the fast road. You'll get this kind of weak shit.
Yeah. So, the Empire is supposed to be this cold, uncaring entity that keeps order at all costs, right?
It's supposed to be.
Yet the Sith derive their power from strong emotions.
Yes.
So wouldn't the Empire better suit Jedi than Sith? Because the Jedi are supposed to be these unfeeling, logical...
Yeah, completely stoic and unflinching, right?
Right.
That is actually a very good question, which I don't think I've ever bothered to consider. My problem, of course, with the Jedi Order is that they suck. Let me explain. They became so overconfident and so arrogant that, in Luke Skywalker's words, at the height of their power, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise, take over the government, and kill them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. I think the problem there would be that they would see a dictatorship as morally wrong.
Okay.
Course,
that would be their hang-up.
Course, what if the Republic didn't happen and it had been an empire for however many years the Republic was, and the Jedi would have grown up around that?
Yeah, well, think about it like, think about how radical it was that America threw off the shackles of Britain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that having a king is inherently evil.
It's just when you have the wrong king.
Right. But that's how things have been done since things have been done.
Right.
And so to say we need something different was seen as crazy by 90% of the people.
Right.
And so it's just like you said, if they were brought up with an emperor,
but somebody who actually
would they defend the status quo? We
Yeah.
have to defend the king, we have to defend the emperor because that's how it's always been. Or would they be enlightened enough to say we can do it a better way?
Right. And but what if there wasn't a better way? What if a democracy was perceived as worse than a dictatorship, because then you have all these bickering, squabbling politicians who could be corrupted and never agree on anything, as we saw with the failing old republic.
I think a galactic republic, there's no way that would work. It didn't work. It'd be too monstrous.
It didn't work.
Right. It did until it didn't.
And it was only a matter of time. And it, as, again, I'm sorry I keep bringing this up, but as Knights of the Old Republic showed us, it almost fell several times.
But, again, is it because of corruption?
Part of it.
So if a true republic, a pure republic, a republic that was impervious to corruption...
But that's impossible. Because organic beings are organic beings. And they are weak. Not weak, but they're vulnerable.
Yeah. They look out for themselves.
And they have differing opinions.
Yeah.
So, what if... Let's flip A New Hope on its head. Mm-hmm. What if the rebellion wants to get rid of a corrupted democracy regime and bring back the original solid dictatorship? Something for you folks to think about. Let's keep moving.
Okay, so we see that Vader gets a new babysitter.
Mm-hmm. And this one's actually competent.
Yeah, Thanoth.
Tell me his name again.
Thanoth.
Does he have the Infinity Gauntlet and all the Infinity Stones?
He does. At least the Mind Stone.
With a snap of my fingers, I can remove Darth Vader.
The thing is, he looks like the dad from Jumanji.
Yeah.
But his personality is very Sherlock Holmes.
It is, yeah. Which is nifty. I like this guy.
Yeah.
It's just not his fucking name.
Thanos.
I seriously read it as Thanos the first time. I was like, I had to double take. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, Marvel got real lazy, and they just like,
Look,
no, we can't.
I need a name for this guy. Hey, have you guys seen Infinity War? I really like the villain Thanos. What did you say? Thanos. I like that. I know, I'm comedy fucking gold.
So we see this introduction between Thanos and
Sorry. Can we call him Mr. T?
Yeah, we'll
then
call
I
him
won't
Mr.
laugh.
T. Okay, so we see this meeting between T and Vader. And do we detect a little bit of nervousness
From Vader?
from Senior Vader?
Probably, because this time he's like, oh, this isn't some guy I can just, kill and make it look like it was his fault. Now I actually have to worry about Palpatine finding out what I'm doing.
Well, and it seems to me you keep getting these sideways glances from T. So does he already suspect Vader?
Who would have the balls to suspect Darth Vader of anything? Probably Mr. T.
Yeah, I mean,
I like this guy's competence. I really do. It's refreshing in the Empire.
Well, and he plays it so close to the chest that in later issues you don't know, does he really think Vader's doing it? Or does he really think he and Vader are making some sort of bond where he can be absolutely honest with him?
And then maybe if he's the kind of guy who maybe if he found out what Vader was doing, maybe he would support it.
Maybe.
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 I'm saying this because I haven't read it yet and you have, but give me a nod here. Am I close? No? Yes? Don't spoil it for me. Keep going.
I was just giving him the dead stare.
Yeah, it was cold.
So, we open up on issue 3, Vader just doing some Vader shit, right? Hanging out in caves.
Going about his Vader day.
Yeah, he just hangs out in caves on Anthan 13. Some rebels show up, and then Vader, he goes, "Hey, at last. The rebellion has many failings. Your slowness is most aggravating." And then it cuts, there's a little tiny panel at the bottom corner, and it's just the hilt of his lightsaber going, whoa.
Yep.
It's
It's
why is
awesome.
that such a cool fucking scene?
Because it's Vader, man. The good thing about Vader is he's not difficult to make cool. You just have to do it right.
Yeah. And so that happens. He kills all those things. And then Vader goes back up to the ship, and they're monitoring the ship that got robbed. And there was a whole bunch of stuff that went down. He's searching the computers, searching the protection systems or whatever, the shields and stuff. Essentially, Mr. T said that he just did a factory reset on it. And whenever I just imagine somebody pushing like the little pin into the bottom of your iPhone.
But for a whole fucking ship.
Reset. Yeah, you just factory reset a ship.
You can do that. In Elite Dangerous,
He just did it.
in Elite Dangerous, you can reboot your pair. You literally turn off your ship and turn it back on again, and shit's working.
But is it back to factory resets?
No, not
You
quite.
lose all your radio presets. You have to enter in all of your contacts again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what he just did. He rebooted his iPhone.
He rebooted his ship.
Yeah. It's like, essentially he blew into the game cartridge of the spaceship.
Dude,
you know
what's funny is because Imperial starts with an I, Eye Destroyer.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Introducing the Eye Destroyer.
New from Apple. So the Apple turns into the Empire. Got it. Figured it out.
Yep, connection made. I mean, it makes sense after they make all this money. They just found a freaking spacefaring empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do that. They got enough money.
So, is Mr. T being coy with Vader in this interaction? Because they're talking about, well, it obviously blew up. And Vader's like, yeah, fucking meteor hit it.
Yeah.
And then he goes,
fucking meteor. Sorry, go on.
and then Mr. T.
Oh my god. Every time-
The way you said that, I'm sorry. It was so blunt. Can you imagine this guy looking at Vader? It blew up, and Vader just looks down. Yeah, fucking meteor.
Jacob,
I'm sorry. What?
every time he says Mr. T, I just think, hello, it's for you.
Bill Cosby wants his sweater. The epic rap battles of history.
Yeah. So we have him going, yeah, I don't think it was from a meteor. This could have been duplicated. It could have made it to look.
Could have been forged.
The meteor was just a distraction for the actual explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really sold me that he's on to Vader.
Yeah, he sniffed something. He's got the scent.
Yeah,
Because that's
something.
that's sticky. You know, something's a little bit off there.
So he and T go to far beneath Anthan Prime, and they're getting ready to go into this bar, club, whatever.
Cantina.
Yeah, they're
Probably.
getting ready to go in. So when they showed up, and there's all these stormtroopers, I thought the stormtroopers had gone there to like gamble or watch a fight or something.
They probably
'Cause they're all standing outside, and there's like a big fight going on in the building.
And the guy
And then
turns
the guy
around.
turns
I thought,
I wasn't expecting you.
yeah, it seemed like he'd been
Yeah.
like caught, like the dog sniffing the cookies or something like that.
Yeah,
You know.
so I really thought they'd been but then I was like, oh, there's like laser
There's something else
blast
going
coming
on
out,
there.
So they're just
that was a bit of a confusing panel.
surrounding the perimeter.
Yeah.
But they totally made it look like
They
they
got
caught doing something. Oh, hey, sorry, I just
like Vader walked in on like Padme cheating on him. Vader, you weren't supposed to be here.
Yeah. So then we go in, we see the twins are just wrecking shit. The twins are the ones causing all this
They're
destruction.
still dumb.
And then Mr. T goes, the twins, what are they doing? And then Vader goes, rudimentary, if effective blade work.
So savage. What a commentary.
God, he's level 100
In
troll.
4 words.
Rudimentary, if effective blade work. Jeez.
Salty.
Just brutal.
Could you imagine if he was one of... Alyssa, what if Darth Vader was one of your gay makeup personalities on YouTube? He's got the sass for it.
He does.
Yeah.
We just need to see Vader go
Yeah.
whip out one of those hand
It's
flips and
rudimentary, if effective, blade work.
I mean, that's basically what Jeffree Star is. But
Exactly.
snap. He's Darth Vader of makeup.
yes.
Yeah.
So the
He's got
twins,
the Empire behind him.
the
that's for
twins
sure.
just came in here, blew all this shit up. Vader and Mr. T are pissed because this was supposed to be where they got their information from.
And the twins just destroyed all
Yeah,
of it.
and they could have gotten a lot more if they hadn't have done this. So then they're questioning everybody. They're trying to figure out everything. They get one guy alive, the guy they were looking for. They get him alive, and they're like, okay, we'll make sure we take care of you. We're going to protect you. You're going to tell us what you know. The twins are going to interrogate you.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever the boy twin
Whatever the
is-
fuck his name is, I don't even care.
it's not important.
No, he's not important.
Just cuts the dude's head off.
He just fucking kills him.
Cuts the dude's head off. And even Vader's like, fucking idiot.
You goddamn moron.
Right. Vader will kill people for no reason, but there's always a reason.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just because I want to... That's what they're...
He doesn't
they say,
kill because he wants to kill. He usually kills somebody to dispose of them like that. If they're completely useless to him.
They're trying to build a rep. So, are they going about building a rep the right way, or is it just recklessness?
The twins?
Yes.
It's total recklessness.
total recklessness.
Yeah.
That's how you see it.
From their perspective, they're trying to be Vader, because they've seen is Vader just killing people, because he's Vader. But they don't understand why.
Right.
They're their execution of it is flawed. They're coming across as idiots.
I gotcha.
It's when you try to copy something you don't understand, DC. Extended Universe.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, they talk about the Imperial Fist.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I'd rather not. You can keep that for your blacklist.
No one wants to see anybody get imperially fisted. So...
Go on. You're gonna lose me again.
No, that's literally all I wrote. I saw Imperial Fist, and I was like, nobody wants to see me get imperially fisted.
Beautiful. That's quality content on the Comic Den, folks.
Oh, goodness
God tier
gracious.
level writing.
So, Anthan Prime. We see Afra going, and she talks to some dude who
Have we talked about this guy yet? His look is fucking cool. What is his name? I need to know his species.
Oh, shoot.
He says it. I know he says it.
Yeah. The Ant. A-N-T-E. The Ant.
A-N-T-E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that pronounced ant or ante?
I say the Ant, because why would you call him Auntie?
Because that's the expression you up the ante, right?
Right, but
is that how you say it?
The Auntie, yeah. It could be Auntie, I don't know.
Okay, he is... Holy fuck, his species name is Given. Givin.
Alright. So she meets with this guy. I call him the Ant. But she's paying him a lot of money for some information.
Right.
And... Whenever they land on this planet, this is like one of the best parts that emphasizes the chess match.
Mm-hmm.
This is Vader at his best,
Mm-hmm.
because he's sending Afra out to do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's sending Afra out to talk to these, because Vader can't go talk to
No,
these
he can't
people.
do it.
And so she goes in, she talks to him, and with all the advanced technology that they have all this advanced technology. They have spaceships that can go at warp speed. They have
Hyperspace.
whatever. They have all
Warp
of
speed
this,
is Star Trek.
whatever.
Get it right.
They have all of this shit at their disposal. And he flips her a goddamn SD card that fits into a regular, like, just camera.
Yeah.
It's an SD card.
It's an SD
gold,
card. Yeah.
but it's an SD card.
But hard technology around like that might have had some uses. Remember, we're not every single species in the galaxy is capable of hyperspace.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about the Star Wars galaxy is that you've got civilizations coexisting with civilizations that are at their height, coexisting with civilizations that have just fucking started.
Right.
There's all sorts of technology, and I almost knocked off my TIE Defender. So that's why we see all of this stuff. It's not one solid. Everything is at this tech level. Some stuff is more high tech. Some stuff is lower tech. It all coexists because that's the beauty of Star Wars. It can be anything it wants to be.
And we find out that the name that she got was Comedex Tan.
Comedex Tan, probably.
Tan.
Probably.
And he's a mortician on Naboo.
Back to Naboo.
He's a mortician.
That's heavy.
So what are they going for?
Well, who died and is at Naboo? Who do you think? They're going for Captain Panaka.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, the other black dude of Star Wars. He was a good character, though.
Well, now we have Thanoth.
Shut up. And Finn.
Yes.
I like Finn. I do.
Okay, so issue 4, Vader's behind the heist, and he's killing everyone who could be a loose end. Mm-hmm. So you start off, and the guy's like, "Please, I surrender. I'll tell you everything." And then Vader goes, "Will you reveal whom you sold the explosives?" And the guy goes, "Yes." A shame. And then he cuts his head off. Because it's Vader.
You know what this is? This is expectation subversion. That's what a lot of these comics is. Usually you got a scene like this. The guy goes, "Will you tell me who it is?" "Yes." "Okay, I'll spare you." Expectation subversion. He fucking kills him.
Right.
That's beautiful.
So if that guy would have said, "I'm not going to tell you shit,"
Vader might have left him alive. Might have.
Yeah.
He probably was still killed.
Because he could still be tortured.
Yeah. Or mind probed, or a myriad of other technologies.
Anything probed.
Yeah. Ugh. He could be imperially fisted.
Tell me everything you know, or feel the imperial
Rubber glove on, snap.
Feel the rubbery imperial fist.
It's time for your examination.
So Mr. T breaks into this safe. Well, he doesn't really break in. He just looks at the slime. He is Sherlock Holmes. Mm-hmm. He looks at the slime patterns because this dude's extra greasy that just got killed, and he looks. This one has more. This one has less, but it has some.
Like being able to identify the code pad by fingerprints,
right?
Like they do in spy movies. Mr. T's a genius.
Yeah,
I refuse to call him the
Thanoff.
Shut up. God, what a fucking name. Is it Thanoff or Thanoth? Do you think?
I called it Thanoff.
Thanoff, yeah.
Because I didn't want to go Thanoth.
That does line up with Star Wars pronunciation, so I'm going to go with Thanoff.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's doing these calculations.
Dude, she's gone. Keep going. She'll see through anything.
He's doing calculations and shit through his head. It could have been any number. It could have been a 7 number.
And doesn't he say...
Like, but this guy's stupid, so he would have only done 4.
And doesn't he say that there's a risk there? Like, if he gets it wrong, it'll vaporize the contents of the safe or something?
Yes.
So, there's
4.
that risk, too.
At 4.
Yeah.
So... Here, we see him. Where is it?
Could you imagine if it only had 1? This idiot puts in the save combination wrong 1 time. Oh God, there goes all my shit.
Yeah. Oops.
It's like if somebody vented your entire bank account for like typing your password incorrectly.
Yeah. So Vader's talking to T before he breaks in, and he goes, "The dragon said he would detonate the building. I prevented him," because he's asking why he killed him. He said, "No sign of any trigger. He was bluffing. Couldn't you tell?" Talking about, because Vader earlier had said, "I could tell you're lying." Mm-hmm. And this dude picks up everything. Mm-hmm. Anything that's out there, he's going to pick it up.
Smallest shit.
So you could tell this guy's lying, but you couldn't tell this guy's lying?
That's not right, Vader.
But then Vader comes, "Do not speak as if you understand the Force."
He pulls the Force card.
Which is the equivalent of, "Bitch, you don't know me."
Yeah. I mean, and he's got something over him that he can pull out. It's a trump card.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a Force thing.
Yeah.
It's a Force thing.
Now, Afra did it first. Now Vader's acknowledging it and doing it too. How beautiful.
I just like it. Don't talk about the Force like you know it.
You don't fucking get it, dude. Don't talk shit. You wouldn't understand.
So in this scene, like, it's a close-up of just Vader's helmet. Like, you can't even see the rest. It's just from his eyebrows down to the bottom of his mouth triangle. Yeah. And it's just his face. Be sure not to fail whenever he's trying to open up because whatever's in this safe is very incriminating.
Right.
He's like, "Don't fail." Is he nervous?
Does Vader get nervous?
I don't know. Is he though?
Maybe a little bit.
I think he might be. I think he's shaking. He's shook right
He's
here.
shaking in his big metal boots.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do. So, what I like is they switch over to Naboo. And they're at Comodex's place. And you get this awesome interaction between Comodex and Afra. After the droids show up, they make sure that he knows he's not going to get away. BT's blowing the droid's head off, just coming up over.
BT,
flies up over the railing and blows that.
What a fucking baller, dude!
And then Afra says, "I need him alive. Don't kill him." So he blows off his finger.
Yeah.
And then gun, 000's like, technically, he's still there.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
He can tell you things.
But you get this awesome interaction between Comodex and Afra, where Afra's like, "Oh, yeah, I had a great life. I had a dad who was always there for me, and my mom definitely didn't die in a ditch because of this goddamn war that you guys are fighting." And so it's just really powerful.
She's covering up her sorrow through the use of sarcasm, and I think that's beautiful.
But it's amazing to see Afra as a product of wartime culture. So Afra is this product of wartime culture, and we see a lot of different sides to the war throughout Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We see the people who want to be in the war. We see the Imperials. We see the Rebels. We see people on the periphery of war but are still profiting or suffering from it.
And Afra's the one caught in between all that.
Yeah, she's just a normal person who's suffering because of the war. So let's just fold this onto our reality. Mm-hmm. How does this translate to today?
Basically 1-to-1 scale, because there are many people like that, or have been like that in the past. Probably a lot more during bigger wars in the past, but they're still there now.
Yeah.
Anybody who's lost their entire family to war can relate to that.
Right, because and this is somebody. As of now, you don't know anything about Afra's past.
That's the first hints.
Yeah, and you see that she had really nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. She had no involvement. Her dad wasn't in the war. Her mom wasn't involved in the war. They actively tried to get away from the war.
Just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, and bad stuff happened. And so then that shapes who she turns into. And so now that has thrown her into this position of profiteering off of war. Mm-hmm. And death and destruction and whatever she can get her hands on. So what happens? What does that say about the Jedi for continuing the war in the name of peace?
It's, again, guess what I'm going to make a callback to? Knights of the Old Republic, where after the Mandalorian War and the Jedi Civil War, a lot of people blame the Jedi for being one of the other sides to bring down such destruction. It's, again, there's no black and white. It's just a bunch of gray.
Yeah. You send a drone out, it bombs somebody, collateral damage, and then you bring more. By doing that, were the Jedi bringing more people into the war than was necessary? Causing more pain than was necessary.
But what if they didn't do anything? Then the other side would have completely taken over. Like they say in Knights, if the Jedi hadn't stepped in, we'd all be speaking Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So, again, there's no right or wrong here. They did what they thought was right, and it still sucks because that's life and that's war.
And okay, so it's easy for us to say that because we're outside of it. Mm-hmm. But for Afra, there is definitely a right and a wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that sucks, too, is that to these people, we understand there's a gray area. There is no right, there is no wrong. I mean, there's a good and a bad.
Right.
But then the good also bleeds into a gray area, and the bad sometimes thinks that they're not the bad.
Right.
And so you see this happening, but then to Afra, there is no gray area. This war was terrible because
she lost her parents to it.
Well, she definitely lost her mom, and then her dad went off and did something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a very touching scene from
beautifully written.
From a character who you don't really get a lot of emotion from. And she did it in a smart-ass way, but I think that's the only way she can.
She could have done it, and it adds more to her charm.
Yeah.
Made me like her more.
So she's sitting there, and they end up getting on the subject of Padme. Mm-hmm. And Afra kind of starts talking shit.
Yeah, she does. I was surprised again that the writers had the balls to do this.
Yeah. She was like, well, she wasn't very strong there at the end, was she? Or it doesn't matter if you're good if you're not strong. Because if you're not strong, then you're going to be dead.
You know, and it's not about whether or not she was strong. It's whether or not Afra was right.
Yeah. So, how would Vader react if he heard Afra talking about Padme like this?
Probably fucking kill her.
Even still? Even after all these years?
Always. Lily.
One thing I did always think, and we mentioned it briefly earlier, is why was Leia never a bigger part of Vader's life?
Because it wasn't written like that in the original trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But in order to fit canonically into that,
and I bring
I don't know.
bring up Leia because they torture Comodex, and he says, yes, there is a son. There was one child. And
because that's what everybody...
000 says, are you sure we got everything out of him that we could? And Afra goes, yeah, he wouldn't have lied. He told us everything he knew.
That's probably what he believed.
Clearly he didn't.
Well, everybody thought Padme was having one kid. The only people who knew there were twins were those that were present at the birth at Polis Massa. Even Padme didn't know she was having twins.
Right.
I don't know why. I guess
technology sucks. Sonogram technology.
That's something I don't get, because we can tell really, really soon in, and I guess they just... Maybe they just didn't bother?
But she had to keep it a secret.
But why wouldn't she check?
Because what if the
records got out or something? Yeah, okay, I could buy that. But then, why wouldn't Anakin be able to sense 2 lives?
2 heartbeats?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's all right.
Maybe they were beating at perfect synchrony.
They were perfectly synchronized, yeah. Which is plausible, I guess.
Yeah.
Every universe is allowed to have small plot holes. I'll let that one by.
Right.
But no, everyone was under the impression that there was one kid, including Palpatine.
But they also established in Sky City that Leia has the Force.
Right.
So why wasn't Vader, who was choking her, why wasn't he picking up on her Force readings? He could tell Luke was his son from half a galaxy away.
Probably bad writing. I'm sorry, I can't defend that.
It always seemed weird to me that she didn't have a bigger part to play.
It's because that
life.
wasn't fucking written until Return of the Jedi.
Copy.
I'm just saying that's the way it was, and it's difficult when you go back into this when you're writing, because you can't make him sense that, because then he would have known in Empire.
But would that have made for a better movie or a more complicated movie
of Empire? Or
if he just knew that Leia was
Force sensitive,
probably would have been knew that Leia was his daughter.
Probably would have been better.
There was no indication that Leia ever knew, or that Vader ever knew.
No, nobody knew
that they were related.
Nobody knew except Ben and Yoda, and it probably Luke later on, and it probably would have been a better movie. But it doesn't matter because we didn't get that.
Right.
That was written in at Return of the Jedi.
I think it could have made for a better movie. I think it would have made for a more complicated movie, and it wouldn't have got nearly as much explanation as it needed.
Perhaps. What I think, and let's take a second to think about why did George Lucas make that change? Why did he write in that Leia was Luke's sister? Because that clearly wasn't the plan. You
mean whenever they made out?
Yeah. He didn't have it in...
I had heard he claimed that was always the plan, though.
Of course he did. All writers do. But it wasn't. Obviously, because if you look at the evidence... And Darth Vader wasn't meant to be Luke's father. That didn't happen until Empire. Really.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Of course, this was back when Star Wars wasn't going to take off, when it was going to bomb.
There's also that. He made that movie...
standalone.
Thinking that it was just going to be...
a one-off.
Yeah, this is going to be something fun that I do. It was like a college project.
And then it was the most successful movie ever, and he goes, oh, fuck.
Yeah, now I have to do more?
And he was lucky enough to get away with Obi-Wan's vague explanation of how Darth Vader was different than Anakin. But, and if you go back and watch Return of the Jedi, the whole from a certain point of view argument is incredibly contrived.
How awesome would it have been? I mean, it would have sucked for fans. Mm-hmm. But if Star Wars was a huge hit, And then he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta make more. I'm out."
Yeah.
Then just packs up his bags.
Then our lives would be dominated by something else culturally. Something else would have come to rise, like.
Okay, so if he wasn't gonna make any more, why did he do episode 4?
It wasn't originally called episode 4 until the re-edits in 1990 something. It was originally titled Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Then they did when George Lucas realized, oh, I can actually make my 6 episode story work out. Then he titled the next one episode 5, and everyone went, "What the fuck? Yeah. Did I miss something?"
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. They only added episode 4 into the title credits in like 97.
See, this is why we do this. I learned something.
What I'm here for.
Okay, so we have Vader and Aphra kind of debriefing. And Aphra essentially says, "Are you worried about this new caretaker you got?" And Vader is like, "I have no fears. He suspects nothing." And it just keeps zooming in on his face until it's looking at Aphra flying away. Mm-hmm. Vader's lying to himself right here.
Yeah.
Clearly. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just Vader's helmet, but they convey so much expression. It's just, it blows my mind that all you do is mess with the zoom of the proverbial camera, and you've now got it.
Camera work is fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah, especially in comics.
Yeah. No, really, you can do some things in comics you can't do with real cameras, so yeah. It's got its own uniqueness to it.
So, issue 5 is the epitome of a chess game. The epitome of a chess game. Whenever they land on Anthan Prime, they even make reference to chess. I mean, it's like, oh, you haven't gotten this theme yet? Let's bash you over the head with it a couple of times.
Which in this case is a good thing.
Yeah. So, I also, because 000 says, "I love playing holo chess." And Aphra's like, "Oh, you're good at holo chess?" He goes, No. I just like playing it. I always lose, and I have a terrible temper.
Yeah.
So I think he just plays so he can kill people.
Yeah, maybe. In this is gonna get real old. In Knights of the Old Republic 2, you can go into a Pazak den, which Pazak is a card game.
Right.
And you find a droid, and the protocol droid, and you say, "What are you doing here?" And the droid says, "Oh, I have developed this corruption in my programming where I cannot stop playing Pazak." And you say, "Are you good at it?" She says, "Oh, no, I commonly lose, but I cannot stop playing." So this is not unheard of with droids.
Yeah. It's almost like OCD.
Could be anything.
Also, but I think 000 just likes killing people.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah. It's part of his programming. I think he likes it as a good excuse to kill people.
Yes.
Not that he needs one.
So, they're in a galaxy far, far away.
A long time ago.
Yes. How do they have the word chess?
How do they have any words?
Well, words can... But chess is a very specific term for a very specific game. It would make more sense if they had a different game and they also called it chess.
Because then it wouldn't be relatable. Like, looking at it from a production perspective. But when I've seen stuff like that in a lot of other things, and here's what I think. We are looking at this piece of media, viewing this through some sort of translator. Because if you'll notice, if you've ever seen any writing in a Star Wars universe, they don't use English. They use Arabesh, which is a totally different. And they say words like X-wing, Y-wing. They don't have an X or a Y. They have Zesh and whatever the fuck Y is. But that's translated to us so we can fucking understand it.
Did I ever tell you about... So, I was reading this comic called Invincible. And Mark, the main character, goes out into space and he goes to an alien planet. And these aliens just start talking to him. Like, I'm talking to you. He goes, "Whoa, you guys speak English?" And the alien's like, "What's English?" So it's the assumption that we're the only ones who do this. But here's my thing. And we might need to do some shrooms before we answer this question.
Here we go. All right.
Okay, so they're in a galaxy far, far away. A long, long time ago. But we don't know where they are. because our reference point is from the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
What if they are this galaxy, but the narrator
Is far, far...
is
Oh,
far
fuck!
away? Huh?
You just turned my entire understanding of Star Wars on its head. No, I know why. Because the galaxy is not the Milky Way. And it's not because you can tell by its shape.
Okay. You've seen they show
Yeah, they
the
have
galaxy.
a map. It's not the same type of galaxy as the Milky Way is.
But, okay.
It's still this big round ball of light, but...
Hold on.
Yeah.
The universe is always moving. The Milky Way has not always been the Milky Way, nor will it always be the Milky Way.
That's fair.
Again, we're messing with long time
Yeah.
ago, far away.
And then I always hear this stupid argument, well, how can it be a long time ago if they have technology that's better than us?
Because it's far away.
No, even if we're talking about if the Star Wars galaxy is a older version of the Milky Way, if it was a long time ago, but they have better tech than us, but if it is the Milky Way and we are now the Milky Way, and Earth is not in the Star Wars galaxy,
Right.
not mapped anyway,
Yeah.
something calamitous would have had to happen. It would have had to reset the galaxy completely. So of course we wouldn't have any of that technology.
Not even that. Okay, so
It's called the cycle.
we are a speck of dust on the very far flung end of one of the tails of the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
We are almost one of the farthest points out from its center.
We are. I know that from Elite Dangerous.
And so, even if you went an inch into the Milky Way galaxy, there's no telling what kind of tech you have.
Exactly.
There's no tech. And so, if they're just on the opposite side of the galaxy, there is no possible way we would ever know them or see what kind of tech
Precisely.
they would be so far removed from us that they would have developed in a way that would be absolutely different.
It'd probably be beyond our understanding.
It's a lot like how technology develops on Earth. I mean, think back.
Technology develops differently in some countries than it does in others.
There are some things that come up that are spontaneous and exactly the same. The bow and arrow.
Sure.
The bow and arrow was universally agreed upon that everybody developed that around the same time.
Sure.
But then all of a sudden you had people coming up with bombs, and then over here you have guns.
Yeah, all of a sudden the Chinese go, "Hey, we got this thing called gunpowder."
Yeah. And then white people said, "My toy."
Yeah. But it wasn't developed over there. They had to get it from somebody else.
Right. So if you went from China, somebody picked up your whole culture, including everything you've created, and moved you to North America, that would be the equivalent of dropping us in Star Wars.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, they have wheels, they have carts,
Yeah.
they have moving vehicles. I mean, they're still run by animals,
Some of them are.
but the Native Americans at that time were walking.
Right.
They didn't even have horses at that point.
See, I like this. A lot of people don't think on this scale.
Yeah, I love breaking things down to the level of stupid.
You know, Karen.
Nobody will ever break anything down.
Karen and I got, Karen from work. We had this. All of a sudden, we just started going on this ridiculously deep conversation. You know, she's very Christian, and we started talking. And I'm agnostic, so I'm not rejecting, but I'm not accepting either. I'm willing to discuss it at face value.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. So we were talking about it. We were talking about God and taking, assuming everything in the Bible, taking it at stock value, right? And she goes, we were talking about aliens as well. And I was posing the idea to her that if there's a God that created us, we would not be the only things he created. And then we kept getting further and further into that, and we went beyond it, and I said to her, okay, well, what if God created this universe? What if somebody created the universe that God resides in, and somebody created the universe that God resides in, and then what if one day we end up creating our own universe?
Yeah.
And then they create their own. It got surprisingly deep with Kieron. It's really weird.
It's the Rick and Morty episode where they go out to get ice cream. And he runs his car off of a universe where people stomp on boxes.
Yeah.
And then those people create their energy for their universe from people who pull on levers. Mm-hmm. And their people create their energy. And it's just an ongoing thing.
It reminds me of a lyric in Weird Al's song, Everything You Know Is Wrong. Mm-hmm. He says, I was walking to the kitchen for some snacks and I accidentally stepped into an alternate dimension.
So that brings up the one issue that I have with the multiverse theory is that, okay, so our universe is a cluster of galaxies.
Right.
So then you have a multiverse.
Right.
So you have our universe and this universe and this universe, and those would cluster to make an omniverse.
Right.
And then those omniverses would then cluster.
It's too big. Stop.
But that's how it would. I mean,
I know. But we are so small, we cannot comprehend that. Right. And then, do you like the branching multiverse theory?
Is that the one where my decisions make another multiverse?
It's the one where I just got up.
Yeah.
And I walked over there.
Yeah.
That's a whole other universe.
The possibilities.
Yeah. And then instead of going to the sink to wash my hands, I got something out of the fridge. 2 new universes.
Yeah. Now here's the thing though, is that our one universe is so large. Mathematically, there is, and this is going to be verbatim from Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
There is another Jacob and another Ace sitting at a table exactly like this, sitting in this apartment, all the way down to that.
Yeah.
That's how infinite our one universe is.
Fucking comprehensible, man.
Yeah, it's.
And of course, there's the entire possibility that all of this is full of shit.
Yeah, we're in the Matrix right now.
No, not that. I mean, like, there's the possibility where the multiverse theory, the omniverse, none of that exists.
Right.
It's just this right now. That's all it'll ever be.
Yeah. And
and even that is staggering to think about.
But the size and scope of everything, going back, like pulling this all back around, the size and scope of everything, to imagine that, like I said, 2 inches over on a map of the Milky Way galaxy, that Star Wars would be going on, it's nothing.
Right.
The Outer Rim is like still so far out, even if they were our next door neighbors, the Outer Rim, which is the furthest they fucking go, is...
Well, there's the unknown regions.
Still...
And then the dark regions.
Is still too far away. So maybe what it is, we're on this arm, and they're on that arm. And the dark region is the space between.
Well, based on the map we've seen, it is a full galaxy.
I get that, but I'm just saying, it wouldn't be too hard to comprehend once you identify the magnitude of how everything works in the universe, that this could be happening right next door.
If it weren't created by humans.
Yeah.
You know what's really scary? You ever heard of the Yuzon Vong?
It sounds familiar.
So, in the original extended universe, the Star Wars galaxy, and this was the ballsiest thing at the time, the Star Wars galaxy was invaded by a race of extragalactics.
All right.
A species from another galaxy.
Oh, so they're bringing in like a higher being.
Well, they weren't higher, but they were extragalactic, which meant, and this totally revolutionized my understanding of the Force, they did not have the Force in them, which means the Force only exists in the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah, it'd be like AIDS only exists on Earth.
Right. Which it probably does.
I'm still convinced that the Force is just herpes.
It's space herpes, but it doesn't kill you.
That's all
usually.
it is. I mean, Anakin gave it to Padme.
If you think of the midi-chlorians thing like that, yeah.
Unfortunately, it's canon.
I know. Unfortunately, a lot of things are canon.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, a lot of things are not canon.
This issue deals a lot with Vader and Mr. T going to Anthan Prime.
It's been like 30 minutes since we talked about the comic.
All while... I love it.
Oh, yeah, no, it's good, too. I'm enjoying myself.
All while Aphra is going to the Ant.
Mm-hmm. The Ante, I think you mean. The Ante.
I'm calling him the Ant.
He's the Ante.
So
Yep,
they're all converging on this one area. Aphra doesn't know where they're going. Vader seems a little bit surprised that they're going to go, and he's like, oh, shit.
It's like the Parent Trap, where they're trying to get their parents to do everything they need them to do without them finding out about it. It's like that.
Yeah, so she's going to see him. Vader's going to there. They're exchanging money for more information. But
it fits.
It does. It should go right there. He was putting his
TIE Defender
on top of the microphone.
It fits.
It would make a really good crown for your microphone.
It really would. And maybe it'll make a good crown for me.
No, it needs to go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That actually kind of hurts. Okay.
It's going to break.
I am the king of the TIE Fighters.
So,
I'll send you a picture.
With all of this happening...
You'll need to upload it in the...
All right. We'll make sure I put it in the picture, or in the video.
Got it.
So this is where we see the stormtroopers bust in. 000 was about to kill that guy who beat him in Hollow Chess. Like a whole bunch of shit goes down, and then Vader comes in. At this point, the Ant says, you know what? All of my stuff was destroyed. I have to protect my people, but I will give you whatever information you want about this person. I won't give you any extra information because I can't do that.
Right.
But you're looking for someone in particular, and I can give you all the information about that one person.
Right.
And so Vader would really like to kill this guy.
Oh, he would. So
much so that he force moves a guy shooting a gun so that it shoots the Ant in the chest. And it's essentially, all he does is like twitch his hand.
Yeah, he just kind of, little slight redirect.
God, he's so good.
I know.
So good. And nobody's the wiser.
Nobody suspected.
But
Sneak 100.
Now Mr. T knows that Aphra is involved.
Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have a name. He doesn't have any other details. He just knows there's a girl.
Yes. So that begs the question, how much longer does she have to live?
It's ticking down.
Vader chokes her. She's like, I have information for you. And he says, tell me. And she goes, I'll tell you later. Let me go.
Who has the balls to say that to Vader and get away with it?
She just became a loose end, a liability, plus someone who's trying to hold leverage over Vader. Those are three things you really
don't want to be.
Yeah. It's not smart.
Mm-mm.
So she's trying to escape. I really want to see this scene in a movie. Because Anthan is surrounded in these thunderclouds. Mm-hmm. And there's lightning going off everywhere, and it's a defense mechanism.
Space lightning is actually a plausibility.
Yeah, I mean, there's space everything. You can have fire in space. You
can't have fire in space.
You can.
It needs to be oxygenated.
If it explodes, you can have explosions in space.
Well, okay, sure.
Like, you can't light a lighter.
You can't have space sound.
Watch me.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to go into space. I'm going to rip the most massive fart. And those on the other side of the galaxy will hear it.
It might have the butterfly effect.
Knocks a gas giant out of orbit.
Yeah.
It collides with a civilization. I just killed somebody by farting.
You just
not the first time.
You just wiped out a solar system.
Not the first time.
So I really want to see this happen in a movie because it's essentially Solo's Kessel Run.
Yeah.
She's flying through the clouds. There's a bunch of lightning. People that are involved with the Empire are after her.
Yeah, it is Solo, isn't it? It's the Kessel Run.
Yep.
But can she do it in 12 parsecs?
Yes. And then this whole interaction between Vader and Thanos is very confusing to me.
How so?
this is where I started to think maybe he's just a big idiot.
Xanath?
Yeah, because they're sitting there talking.
He's not an idiot.
Well, they're sitting there talking. They're like, we have to do this. We have to go that. And then Vader's just like, we're here chasing a simple thief. And
Thanos goes, I've been distracted.
Oh, slaps his head. And he goes, I've been such a fool. And so I thought...
He's allowed to make mistakes. He is human.
But at first I thought...
He was
maybe
pulling
he's
something.
Just playing.
And I thought that too,
Vader.
but I genuinely... I get the sense that the guy could be too wrapped up in the chase. I get that.
Okay.
I believe that that could be a very human flaw, especially for somebody who's an investigator.
The vibe I was getting was that I'm just going to keep giving these suggestions, and I'm going to trap Vader. So I'm going to go along with it.
You can't trap Vader.
And I'm going to say, what if, okay, I have a crazy idea. Why don't we lie to Tog? Why don't we hide this, and we do our own thing, and we just sneak off? Mm-hmm. And then as soon as Vader goes, yeah, that's a good idea, and he's going to go, ha!
Got him!
Gotcha!
Got him! He's going to do the I'm doing the hand circle, the finger circle.
Ball gazer.
Ball gazer. He got him. Fucking
Ball gazer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
So here's the scene. They've been after these smugglers and they're rebels.
Yeah.
And they've been
not rebels as in the Rebel Alliance, but that people forget that rebels does not mean that one faction on Yavin. There were a ton of rebels.
Except Luke's here.
Well, yeah.
Co-opting them into being part of the rebels.
Right. But they're still different. And that's something that the show, Rebels, touches on a lot, and I really like that.
Yeah.
But go on.
So we see that Luke's here. Luke's trying to get these guys to join up with them. He's saying, you guys take off. I'm going to take off. Find cover. And this is where a ship starts taking off, and Vader takes him down by boomerang throwing
his lightsaber. Yeah. Now, we talked earlier today about why didn't Vader just force crush the ship into the ground?
Yes.
And then we started discussing, I said it's because while you're powerful in the Force, everything still takes effort. And it takes a lot less effort to boomerang your lightsaber into the engine than it is to force down an entire ship, which is a misconception. It's a misconception in Star Wars that anybody can do anything with the Force, and it's because we got that stupid fucking cutscene in Star Wars The Force Unleashed where Starkiller forces down a fucking Imperial Star Destroyer with no effort.
Yeah.
And I get the whole size and matters not thing, but that was Yoda, and Yoda was 900 years old.
So he's insane.
He was, but he also has the best understanding of the Force of anybody alive.
So this whole scene, what happened was they were supposed to be after Afra. Mm-hmm. Then they said, you know what? Fuck that. We're not going to go after Afra. We're going to go after these rebels that are hanging out on this meteor. Mm-hmm. Did Vader go along with that? Did Vader suggest that and Vader go along with that and push that just so that the twins wouldn't kill Luke?
Maybe. Because obviously Vader wants to keep Luke alive for his own ends.
And he knows, he can sense where he's at, so
Right.
he had to have known he was there.
Right.
So is that what happened?
It's entirely possible.
So he's defending Luke.
He's defending Luke because he wants Luke for his own plans, not for...
He loves him.
I mean, of course he does.
He loves him. Proud daddy.
My boy's a Jedi. I have a son. You really need to watch Star Wars How It Should Have Ended. Because
yeah, I've seen a few of them.
I have a son, asteroids. I have a son, space slug.
So they kind of push this narrative in the comic that Vader and Mr. T are forming a bond. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of making a friendship.
Mm-hmm. But are they?
Are they?
Are they?
I mean, Vader stands up. He takes the heat. Mm-hmm. Which ends up turning into glory.
Yeah.
But
Vader probably knew
as
that, though.
Thanos also mentions, you could have thrown me under the bus very easily.
Oh, sure.
And anybody else would have. So is he lulling him into a false sense of security?
That's what I would do to get the guy off my trail. Get him to start trusting me.
This is where I really started. Well, whenever he slapped his forehead and started saying, "Well, maybe we should do this," and it worked out.
Yeah,
that's when I started saying, "Okay, maybe he's not so hip on the uptake as I thought he was. He's not seeing the forest for the trees,
or maybe he is, but Vader's just better than him."
Yeah, like I said, it's a chess match, and Vader's winning.
Yeah.
Which is everybody has this vision of Vader as just this imperial hammer that just smashes.
He's not.
But he's just going through and he's dissecting every plan.
He can be a hammer.
Right.
Or a fister. Or he can be a scalpel.
Fist.
Or he can be a scalpel.
Yeah.
When he needs to
be.
Yeah.
So, cut to Aphra hanging out in this cave. And 000's like, it'd be smart if you just ran away. And Aphra's like, no, if I run, he's
definitely going to kill me.
And then he just sneaks up on her and scares her.
I'd be scared. Fuck, I'd be scared, man.
But it's so funny that he snuck up on her. That means he had to cut off his respirator.
That's true.
He did it on purpose.
You should be able to hear him coming a mile away.
He did it on purpose.
I didn't even think of that. Or, maybe he probably just cloaked himself in the Force. Because you can do that.
I like to think that he shut off his respirator.
He's standing over here in the shadows like...
Deep breath.
I'm going to get her to watch this.
Hey, Aphra.
Boo.
Boo.
So, they have the conversation. She says, hey, you know what? Luke's alive. Luke's your son. Luke's, confirms everything that he knows. And they make a point to say, everything you thought was confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Which means that Vader told Aphra about it.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. So, are they forming a bond?
Does Vader form bonds?
I mean...
Remember what happened last time he did?
He's made of atoms, so...
Damn it. No, he's made of midi-chlorians.
Herpes.
Yeah.
So,
my mom got fucked by space herpes.
He also decided to let her live.
That...
When there's no
reason to.
As of now, there's no clear purpose. Now, obviously, we don't know what's in Vader's mind.
No.
But right now, there's no clear reason. But also, we see Carbon is watching this whole thing go down. So now he knows that Vader's been doing all this shit.
Right.
But he's also so tied up in what he's doing that he's not going to tell on him.
Exactly.
Because he wants to kill him. Also, we get this...
By the way, the character we're talking about is Admiral Akbar Grievous.
Yeah, it's Admiral Akbar... Not literally.
Not literally, no.
But it's a Mon Calamari, and he's been turned into a robot.
He's been turned into
from
General
the neck
Grievous.
Down. Yeah.
Yeah. Which looks really fucking stupid.
I don't know. I really like this picture where he's sitting here, like sitting in his chair, spread eagle, and you get this amazing cod piece.
Oh, God.
He's just wearing metal underwear.
Ugh, gross. At least you can't see his lungs.
Yeah, there's that.
And that's it.
That's it.
Fuck.
That's all 6 issues.
Took us 2.5 hours? Not bad.
2 hours and 9 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Is what my recording... And I'll have to edit some of that down.
That's true.
But...
Don't edit the good stuff.
Oh, no. I don't ever edit the good stuff.
What else you got for me?
What... After we've discussed it, do you get more out of... the comics after having a dumbass conversation like this for 2 hours? Does it mean more?
There was some things that I missed, so yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know we talked about it, but now I don't remember what it is because it's 10:30.
Yeah, well, just listen to it over and over and over again. And so yeah, I always like dissecting these things because you never know what direction somebody else is reading it from. And
that's what I love about things that are open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Everything just wants to spoon feed you these days.
I also like breaking things down, like I said, to the nth degree that nobody would ever break anything down to because it's so stupid to even think of it like that.
Or are they too small-minded for it?
Maybe. I just really enjoy doing
We're
it.
sitting over here with our heads falling over our backs because our brains are so huge.
That's right.
High class.
All right, let's close this shit out.
Yes.
That'll do it for this episode of the Comic Rundown. Special thanks to Jacob for rejoining me.
Hello.
Hopefully you'll join me for Vader Down.
Of course.
All right. I'll get that going here pretty soon.
Definitely.
Remind everyone where they can find you and what you have going on.
Chronicler177, that is my YouTube channel. We are coming up on my next project, which is going to be called Spartans Omega Halo. It's a sequel to my popular series Spartans Generation and a remake of my original machinima that I made back in 2009. Very excited about it. It's coming together really well. So if you like Halo, if you like Halo 3, because I'm going to be making it in Halo 3, stick around. It's coming out soon. I trademarked the word.
All right. Even if you guys don't like Halo, I was never a huge fan of Halo. I enjoy watching those videos. Some of them really make me laugh. So it's
Odd Man Out.
Yeah, Odd Man Out. Go check it out. It's awesome. All right. So if you like this episode, give it a like. If you like the channel, go ahead and subscribe. You guys can always find me on Facebook, Instagram.
You forgot to
and
tell
YouTube.
them to hit the bell.
Hit the bell too, or else it doesn't count.
Exactly.
You guys can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at The Comic Den. No more with The Comic Den 316. The Comic Den. So, again, hit that bell. If you don't hit the bell, it won't notify you.
Because YouTube sucks.
Yes, it does. This has been The Comic Rundown. I'll catch you all later.
Goodbye!